Hi there. Those of you who happen to drop by my channel for the first time, it's dedicated to a very narrow branch of hobbyists. It's a mainly amateur radio dedicated channel. So this is going to be my first recording on such a controversial subject. And first, do forgive me for language mistakes, for lacking vocabulary. First of all, I'm very tired. Having a small baby and not getting enough sleep is, being a father is great. So it takes a toll on my ability to concentrate. So, name is Maciej, or Miles, as I go in amateur radio. And some time ago, I've come across a video by BuzzFeed about 36 questions women have for men. I've seen it from start till the end, from A to Z. And my first thoughts were that those women do have some serious issues. But YouTube algorithms recently suggested a video, a commentary to those questions, answers, by a channel called Odin's Men. And your channel is really great. I've seen a couple of videos, and so back to those 36 questions. I'm coming from a different culture than the ladies that recorded those questions. I live in Poland. I'm born and bred, down to the bone Polish. I even have a special part of my DNA for complaining only. So I'm as Polish as you can be. An average Joe. I grew up in a communist country and lived in it for a part of my life. My family was arrested, imprisoned and tortured for freedom of speech, for fighting against Marxism. So I do have my own views about those questions. Let's start.
How does it feel to be the same sex as Donald Trump?
How does it feel to be same sex as Donald Trump? Well, how does it feel to be the same sex as Erna Petri or Eva Braun? Looking at that pretty lady with nice outfit, she looks a bit Hispanic. So I could ask, how does it feel to be the same general cultural background, race or whatever you call it, as Augusto Pinochet? That question is either someone who wrote you that question, my dear fair lady, is stupid, or if that question is yours, there's something wrong with your line of thought. So how does it make me feel to be the same sex as your president, X to B? It makes me feel like grabbing a pussy. Of course, I wouldn't grab a pussy right now because my pussies tend to be stubborn, and when I call them, they don't always come. So, who's on? By the way, sex and gender down here, it's the same thing. There's male and female. So I sometimes fail to grasp the difference you guys say. When you say sex or gender, it's the same thing in my language.
Why do you hate romcoms? Or do you just feel like you need to hate them?
Everybody likes The Notebook. Everybody likes Beyonce.
Okay, when I saw it for the second time, I had to Google what romcoms are. So romantic comedies. I don't hate them. I don't care about them at all. I'm not a fan of romantic comedies, same as I'm not of superhero movies. I've seen a couple of romantic comedies, even shed a tear or two. But trust me, they are too cliche, so predictable, so plain boring. Never seen The Notebook. I don't listen to Beyonce. I don't hate her. I respect her as an artist and as a very influential woman.
Why do you make women sit around and talk about men in movies?
When y'all easily just sit around and talk about boobs for hours.
Why do you...
If you think that guys are talking about boobs for hours, your view might be botched by Hollywood movies. In real life, Maybe boys do so, but guys, we do have so many interesting things to talk about. When we go for a pint or 2 or 10, we talk about our work, about ideas, issues, technical problems we have. We talk about our wives sometimes, we talk about our kids, our cars, about political issues, social issues. We also talk about, in a closed, very closed circle of trusted friends, we talk about our problems, sometimes emotional problems, feelings, etc. But we occasionally might talk about a boob or two. Don't get me wrong, boobs are extremely important, but just not enough to spend hours talking about them. So maybe you should hang around men more instead of boys.
You automatically assume that you won't like TV or movies that star a female lead.
Why?
Well, I don't assume that if a lead actor or actress, if she's a female, that the movie is gonna suck. I don't care. You can be, the key part might be played by a dog, a cow, a man, a woman. I don't care. As long as it is a good movie, with good screenplay, with good acting. Of course, the Hollywood tries to do what it can to persuade me into thinking that key parts are played by females, that the movie is gonna suck. For example, what they did to Ghostbusters, switching from Ghostbusters to PMS Busters. Ladies, I grew up watching the original Ghostbusters, and the way they were butchered by Hollywood recently is appalling.
Are you surprised when women are funny?
I'm probably funnier than you.
Okay, I'm not surprised when women are funny. I've married one. If not for her wicked sense of humor, dark humor sometimes, I wouldn't marry her. I wouldn't want to be in a relationship and have a family with someone and spend my life with someone with no sense of humor. Now, I tend to have rather wicked and dark sense of humor. But I'm happy when she's funny. Of course, there are, that's on a personal level. There are stand-up comedians, both male and female, that are funny and not so funny, or ones we might consider funny or not funny. It's very personal if you find someone funny or not. I love guys like Billy Connolly, Bill Burr. They're very funny. I love Iglesias. His fluffy is just great. And there are of course comedians like Amy Schumer that maybe she stood near to a comedy once. I don't know. But that must have been a very wide angle lens to fit both her and the comedy in one frame. Anyway, she's not funny. I don't find her, well, maybe for you, but I don't find her funny. She's boring. And that pretty blonde girl says that she's probably funnier than me. Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. You're certainly angry. At least that's what I see in your body language.
Why do you think that we're obsessed with you when we hook up?
Nice.
Okay, I'm not sure do I understand hook up. Do you mean that we go for a date or it's a one night stand? If you mean that we hook up and go for a date, and if someone thinks that you are obsessed with him after that, then that person is probably mentally insane.
2 times out of 10, I just want you to leave too. I'm busy. I got shit to do.
What?
Okay, so judging by the context, she's talking about a one night stand. So I can't relate to that. I'm not a one night stand guy. I never was. That's not the way I was brought up. That's not the way people around me, men around me, behaved, and that's not the way my friends see the world. But if you are into that kind of stuff, and that person, either male or female, spends a night with you, and things that you are obsessing over him after that, then I'm back to my original statement that that person is probably probably has some mental issues, and you should run.
I cannot sleep with as many people as I want to without being judged.
You can sleep with as many people as you want, but you will be judged. Same as you will be judged when you walk naked on the street. Same as I will be judged by the contents of my video and my views. I will be judged on the way I look, that I'm chubby, or I have a grey beard, or I'm blonde, or I don't speak English fluently enough, or whatever. I will be judged because that's the way society works. That's the way rules work. We have an organized structure, and that's good. There's always a hierarchy. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. And always someone is judging you. You are judging someone. That's the way the world works. So you can sleep with as many men or women as you want, but please don't think that I will be treating you as someone trustworthy, as someone with whom I would like to be in a relationship with. Same as buying a car. First of all, sorry for comparing a human being to a car, but when I'm buying a car, I don't want my car to have 50 previous owners, to be run down, to have 500,000 miles on it, and I want it to be fairly new, checked, of course, drivable, fun, well preserved. So don't be surprised that people will judge you. They also judge men same way.
When men do it, they're congratulated.
What?
You really think that when men do sleep around, when men do change sexual partners all the time, they are congratulated? Bear with me for a second. I will tell you a secret. When it happens that there's a guy like that, when we, for example, are with a group of friends, male friends, and a guy like that pops up somewhere in a party and he brags about it, we'll probably say, good for you, and we will ignore him. I know not a single man that will want to be friends with such people, that would trust such men, because if you are unable to commit to focus on something important and having a relationship, taking care of that one woman, committing to it, it's something that shows that you are a valuable member of the society, of this planet, at least in the views of many men, and the men I know. So you will not be congratulated. Of course, they are those, we call them playboys, and they were, and they will be. Just ask yourself a question: would there be playboys if there wouldn't be any toys to play with? Would men be able to conquer the territory of female body so freely if that territory would be locked and preserved? No. So you have to give to receive. So someone is giving those playboys, those men, the opportunity to be playboys. So you're trying to tell me that women are so unaware of the surroundings environment, so unable to assess someone's ability to be a good mate, someone's character, that they are willing to just go like that and spend a night with him and be his another trophy, and then another and another. You see what I'm getting at? I hope so. Let's move forward.
Why do you consider a woman a tease if she doesn't sleep with you after 3 dates?
Okay, I don't consider a woman a tease when she doesn't sleep with me after 3 dates. At least recalling those days when I was dating. Of course, it might be different in your culture, in your upbringing, but I don't want a woman to go to bed with me after 1 or 2 or 10 dates. I want her to go to bed with me when we both feel like doing so. We both consent and we both trust each other. So sex is something. It's also fun, of course, but it's like playing with live ammo. You have to be careful, and in my opinion, it requires you to trust the other person, to be responsible for your actions and for the outcome of those actions. So it's better done with someone that you know, that you trust, that you have some kind of feelings toward that person. I have problems relating to those questions because I come from a different background, and most of guys I know come from the same background.
But a slut if she sleeps with you on the first date.
And what?
A slut when she sleeps with me on the first date. I don't think that she's a slut. Of course, like I said, it's difficult to trust someone to, when she went to bed with me on a first date, did she do it with every other guy? Is that a part of her character to be so at ease with what she does and not to care about consequences, not to, well, just to commit to an action and like that? I would have problems, with that. But then, of course, we are adults, and if we both are okay with it, that's, I guess, fine. Like I said, it's I find it difficult to relate to those questions because I have never encountered situations like that, and my life was rather typical, I guess. I was dating, we were having sex, we broke up, I met someone else, we were dating, we were having sex, etc., etc., etc. So,
In what world does no mean yes?
No means no.
What?
I'm again baffled by this question. It makes me wonder what happened to you there in the West. What's wrong with your society? What's wrong with your men? Are there men anymore? That you have to ask a question, in what world does no means yes? No means no, always. It always has and always will mean no. No means no. It doesn't mean no for perverts, for criminals, for all sorts of mental wicked people. So if you have to deal with such issues, like men unable to establish when no means no, then you sure have a problem there in the West. Yeah, no means no, and you take it, you swallow it like Sasha Grey. Let's move forward.
Why do you say that women are too emotional to be leaders? That
Hi. Why do I say that women are too emotional to be leaders? Well, just looking at that video and your body language, I can say that you are too emotional to be a leader. In general, evolution created us with different behavior patterns, with different wiring and software. And women in general tend to be more emotional. They are. It's not rocket science. And I want a leader, and I don't care whether this leader is male or female. I want that leader to be cool, to be rational, logical, to be able to take lots of amount of stress, and make decisions, to lead. And very often women are unable to curb their hormones to get hold of the emotions.
And justify catcalling by saying men just can't control themselves.
What?
Okay, you girls need to stop watching Netflix. Because the only place I've ever seen anyone catcalling is in Hollywood movies. Maybe I've seen a case or two some 30 years ago, and that's all. You know, things we are talking about, maybe I think back in in the 50s and the 60s, something like that, but no one justifies that. It's disrespectful.
Why do you think that just because you're nice to me, I owe you my body?
The amount of stupidity in a world that creates such question is beyond my grasp. By the way, we have a small snow blizzard here, so winter's finally here. -12. It's going to be -20. Anyway, no one sane, not a single guy I know, and I know lots of men. We are average Joes, your typical John Smith. None of them thinks that if you are nice, then you owe me your body. None of us. What kind of asshole, mental you have to be to even think about you owing me your body for being nice? You're nice to me, that's fine. I'm nice to you. Again, maybe you hang around boys, immature boys instead of men. And even boys don't behave like that. At least they didn't back in my days. I'm over 40, so any man who is at least half mature, half sane, will never have an idea of you owing him your body just because you're nice to him. You know, down here in my culture, we cherish women. We take care of them. You're like some heavenly creatures almost.
Why would you ever send an unsolicited dick pic?
Okay, unsolicited dick pic. I had to Google that too, and now I know that it's a thing right now. Let's make a few cases. One case is when you are in a relationship with someone, and you both agree upon sending nude pics, whether it's a your private parts, whatever pictures you want to send each other, that's fine. But when you do it, the other case is when you do it to a random person, or someone just met on Tinder, that's sick. That's disrespectful. It only tells the other person that you are a wacko. And you're the kind of guy that probably will keep a young girl in the basement for 20 years. There's something fucking wrong with you.
Why do you feel like it's okay to harass women or make offensive comments about women, but when somebody does it to your sister, it's not okay?
I'm unable to comprehend the world you're living in that makes you want to ask questions like that gives birth to such ideas. Being offensive to women, it's disrespectful, it's wrong, whether it's a man or a woman. We all do things like that sometimes, I think, but we sometimes tend to be disrespectful without even knowing that. And but honestly, I don't recall the last time my friends and I we talked shit about a woman. We don't. It's just okay. We might comment that she's nice. She got nice ass. I wouldn't mind to bang her, and that's all. And we move on to more important things. And but we don't speak it out loud. It's you have to. I think you have to simply have some borders and know when and where to talk about stuff like that. And it's not okay when someone disrespects my wife or sister or someone from my family. I know people do. The world is not perfect. If I would count times I was disrespected, and if I would get a penny for it every time, I would be a rich man. Trust me.
How does it feel to interrupt me when I'm in the middle of making a point during a meeting? What?
Okay. How does it feel to interrupt you when you are in the middle of a point during a meeting? If you're talking bullshit, it feels fine. Honestly, feels fine. Yeah, but on a serious note, it's rude to interrupt anyone. We do it, both male and females of our species do it because we are either rude or just don't think about it. We want to break into a conversation as fast as possible to present our point of view.
You have to sit with your legs so wide open.
Why do I have to sit with my legs so wide open? That nice, I think, Korean lady. By the way, I have a very similar shirt. I'm not sure how your education system works, but down here we do have biology lessons, and we learn that males and females of our species tend to have different genitals. So men have testicles, balls, cojones, and it's practically impossible for us to keep our legs together because it hurts. It really hurts. So we keep them spread. Of course, there are guys who go to the extreme, sitting like that, 90 degrees each side. Why? I don't know. They want to mark the territory. I don't get it. It's rude. But there are women who show their cleavage, their boobs, so much, like they want to state, you see, I have boobs, I have boobs, I have boobs. Yeah, you do have boobs. Fine. So you do it your way, we do it our way.
I get that you have balls, but I don't stand around with my arms wide open to make room for my boobs.
Honey, I'm just looking at the video, and you got your boobs wide in the open, showing them like that. You see, I got boobs. Nice one, by the way, but you do this exactly the same thing, and the size of your breast influence your posture, the way you behave, the way you move, everything. Same as our testicles. Some guys have smaller, other guys have bigger testicles. Some guys have smaller thighs, bigger thighs.
Why are women perceived as the weaker sex? Even though we literally birth you, like watermelons, through like this.
Why?
Hey honey, it's not like this, it enlarges. Again, biology, basic school biology. And yes, women are considered a weaker sex because statistically your muscle strength is lesser. You are weaker in muscles. Therefore you are weaker statistically. Of course there are those MMA female fighters that would whoop my ass in a second and break me in half. But statistically speaking, you are a weaker sex. That of course comes down to, like I said, muscle strength. Not to pain endurance. The long time pain endurance, women are way stronger. Way stronger than men. I cannot distinguish whether males or females of our species are, which of them is stronger emotionally. When it comes to to psychological trauma, to psychological events. I would say that 50-50. You will find cases of weaklings in every gender, in males and females.
Why is it so bad to show your emotions?
Why is it so bad to show my emotions? Evolution. fighting for resources and territory. It's of course, we might be thinking that we send spaceships to the moon, we probe other planets, so we are so evolved. No, we are not. In the time span of our evolution, yesterday we were jumping from branch to branch on a tree somewhere in mid-Africa. So showing your emotions as a male, of course depending where and when, but in general, showing your emotion, showing that you are weak, means that you will not be treated seriously. You will gain less territory, less power, and of course less women, because women don't like weaklings. But maybe in the West, you want your boyfriend to be some soy SJW skinny jeans weakling who is, whenever someone tells something wrong about him, he crawls inside his safe space and cries. Maybe that's what you want, but down here, sorry, I've never met a woman who would be attracted to a weak and emotional man. We of course show our emotions in very close, trusted circles with our women, with our family. But it all boils down to fighting for territory. I know it sounds primitive, but it is. That's the way the cookie crumbles. That's the way it is. And yes, we do cry. You should have seen me when I saw the first scan of my wife being pregnant of our daughter. I had tears in my eyes. We do break down. Men are prone to depression much more than women are.
Why are you always trying to prove your masculinity?
Why the isn't it like...
Okay, why am I trying to prove my masculinity to a female? I think I've started to address that. It all boils down to fighting for territory and resources, and in that category, for mates. You can blame nature only.
Why the isn't it ladylike to cuss? When did words get gendered?
Why is it?
Okay, why isn't it a ladylike to cuss? I'm not going to address that second part, when the words get genders, because I again fail to understand what you mean. Cussing is of course that foul language, bad language. Shouldn't be acceptable, but we all do it. I'm a simple guy, see, I'm a redneck. I do curse a lot sometimes. We look in you for things that are opposite to what we are. So we are looking for kindness, for softness, for gentleness, for some parts of us missing that needs to be supplemented by women. And cursing was portrayed by ages as manly, as reserved to bad old sailors. And in general, it's not delicate. It's not something, when I say to a woman, I like your hair, your eyes, I think that you are beautiful, I don't want to hear in an answer, well, fuck you.
Why is it your first instinct to doubt women who have been sexually violated or raped?
Why do you...
Again, where in the world did you grow up? The world that brings that question to your mind. You want to know what an average man's reaction, the man I know, my reaction is, my first reaction to a woman being assaulted or raped is to find that guy and make him suffer, make him pay so much. You will find no man sane that will say, oh, you got raped, fine. No, my dear. Not in the world I come from. Such perverts, even in prisons, they get special treatment, because there are some rules, and assaulting a female, a woman, is crossing the boundary. So my first instinct is not to doubt a woman when she says she's being raped. Is to protect her, is to take revenge. That's one side of it. The other side is that in recent years, women, it came to public view that many women make false accusations about rape, and it destroys men. So women do not help each other by making false accusations. It doesn't help your cause at all. I also happen to have friends on the force and people who take reports of rapes, etc., and I've heard of so many false accusations that even female officers have problems believing the theoretical victim, because they've seen so many false accusations made by women. And any case should be based on evidence, pure, rational evidence.
Assume a woman's angry because she's on her period.
Why do I assume a woman is angry because she's on her period? It's called experience, pure experience. We all had mothers, some of us sisters, girlfriends, wives, and we are capable of connecting two dots, one dot and the other one, and we can connect them. We do see a pattern. It's a rather simple thing, and I thought that every human being is capable, our brains are capable of seeing patterns.
Do you think women that wear makeup are false advertising?
I don't think that women that wear makeup are false advertising. Why should I?
We could say the same thing about your dick size. Why?
I again fail to understand the connection between makeup and dick size. We all do false advertising. You wear makeup. We pretend to be more masculine, more, fit.
Isn't it weird that there's a bunch of old white men sitting in a room making legislation about what I can and can't do with my body?
Okay, why isn't it weird that there's a bunch of old white men sitting in a room making legislation about what I can and cannot do with my body? My country is homogeneous, so we are everyone is white. When you see someone of color, it's not that often. So it would be fair that there's a bunch of white men sitting. In your country, looking at the video, you have women of all shades there. I suppose that there are men and women of different colors. So saying making a mark of their race is rather racist. I don't understand why you say a room of white men. Does the color of their skin matter? Are you a racist? It doesn't matter to me. They could be, yellow, red. Why should I think about them through the lens of both their skin color and another thing, their age? You're going to be old too. But there is something called democracy. There are elections. We elect people who will run the country. So why don't you elect people that will make laws that fit your views? There are more women voters than men. Why don't you elect women willing to force the laws you are fine with? I might not like that white old man room because they also make decisions about my body and what I can and cannot do. It's called an organized country. But then again, every couple of years I can vote, and I do each and every time, to choose people who I consider worthy or less of a danger to my interests. So yeah, I do find it weird that that you talk about race and age of those men and women making laws.
Do you have a coochie?
Why are straight
Do you have a coochie? Do you really think that if I would have a coochie, I would be sitting here now and recording this video?
guys so obsessed with lesbians?
Why straight guys are so obsessed with lesbians? Okay, so bear with me for a few minutes. I'll try to explain it as simple as I can. Men are into women, especially sexy women. So we are into lesbians, but in porn movies only. Most lesbians I've known, are some, a crossbreed of a Yeti and a assault helicopter. So we are into lesbians in porn movies because we are into women. The more, the merrier.
How does it feel to get kicked in the balls?
How does it feel to get kicked in the balls? It's impossible to describe that pain, and I've been through some pain.
Do you ever get tired of trying to be manly all the time?
Do I ever get tired of being manly all the time? No, it's natural. That's just the way I am.
Why are you so afraid of gender equality?
What?
Why am I so afraid of gender equality? Why anyone would be afraid of males and females, men and women being equal? I'm not sure how the law works in your country, but down here it is illegal to discriminate based on your gender. That means male or female, your skin color, etc., etc. So we have the same duties, the same privileges by the law. So we are equal in that sense. If you're talking about other avenues of equality, then we were created in different ways. Evolution found different roles for males and females. That's why we tend to behave in different manners. Our brains think different a bit. And we supplement each other. Men and women supplement each other, and I don't want them to be equal in that way.
I don't deserve to be paid less than you.
In what world does 77 cents equal a dollar?
In what world does 68 cents equal a dollar?
Okay, so you are talking also about gender pay gap. That's a myth. And if a woman gives exactly the same to the company, to the employer, as a man, and she gets paid less, then that company should be butt-fucked by that woman's lawyer. So again, same input, same experience, same knowledge, same amount of hours spent, a general input to the company should equal the same output. But statistically, the input is not the same. So we cannot, same as I cannot expect to have the same, to be paid the same as for example, my supervisor, because he inputs more than I do. He spends more time. His knowledge is superior in many cases.
How is that fair?
Why are you intimidated by a woman who makes more money than you?
I'm not intimidated by a woman that makes more money than I. for a very long time, my wife earned more than I did, and I was happy. I was happy for her because she has a nice career. She's a good specialist, and why should I be intimidated? I was happy that she earned more. Then the tables turned, and we both put what we earn into the the family. When I started to earn better, my wife was happy that I do. So I'm not intimidated. Of course, I cannot be blind to the fact that in general women expect men to earn more and to be the providers.
That's awesome. More money.
Why are opinionated women seen as bitches?
When opinionated men are seen as bosses.
Okay, both opinionated men and women might be considered assholes or bitches.
Why aren't you speaking up when you hear your male friends behind closed doors make jokes that are offensive to women?
Why are you
We joke about almost everything. Women, not so often. And we joke, trust me, about every single thing that you can joke about. And it's offensive. It's very often offensive. And it's funny. When you cross the line, when it's not funny, you will certainly very quickly know that you ain't funny, that the joke ain't funny. But I don't recall offensive jokes about women. There were probably some, same as they are offensive jokes about men that we share. Or we joke about each other offensively. Normal guys try not to cross the line. Women are most of the time off the table out of respect.
You're so afraid of recognizing your own privilege. That doesn't mean you're a bad person.
Okay, why are you so afraid of recognizing your own privilege? I again fail to understand what that privilege is. My first thought when hearing about privilege is, you see, like I told you, I was born and grew up in a communist country. I've studied politics, so I do realize that privilege talk, we had it before. It was called Marxism. The privileged classes, the war of the classes. So I've heard it all before. Then of course the privileged were the rich capitalists, while the oppressed were everyone else. Now it seems that the neo-Marxist movement changed the target. So especially the white males and especially heterosexual males are the privileged ones, not knowing why. And now the oppressed are anyone of color, etc., etc. So honey, I've heard that bullshit before, and you're quite young and you might not realize how it all ends. But down here, we've seen it, we've been through it, and hundreds of thousands of people were sent to the gulags, hundreds of thousands, well, tens of thousands murdered by the same people who are talking about privileges, just like you do. So that's my first thought about. So from a broader perspective, do you want to know what my privilege is? My privilege is to have a great wife, a wonderful wife, to be her husband, to be allowed to be blessed by spending my life with her, to struggle together, to be my privilege is we've built a great house and we enjoy our lives. My privilege is to be a father of a great daughter. My privilege and the responsibility is to let her grow to become a strong, independent woman, able to say no to such ideas as neo-Marxism. So that's my privilege. My privilege is also statistically dying younger, being prone way more to depression than women are, being in more risky jobs, having more health problems, work related. Having most of my fingers dislocated from doing hard work, so my family will have a better life. I also have a privilege as a young man to be treated like shit by women. Like a piggy bank. I also have a privilege to hear that I'm not rich enough to be with, or that I'm too old to be with. I also have a privilege of being told, especially right now, I am the cause of all the problems. That I, being straight, white, man, am some sort of devil incarnated. So that's my privilege. And my privilege is looking at you entitled, spoiled kids and being scared what's going to happen to our civilization. I think that's all.